Welcome back. Still watching Africa's Finest Breakfast Show. Still with the conversation as regards domestic violence, curbing it. And we have in the live studio Kanu Chimere, who is an internet entrepreneur. So we hope to gain from him how spouses and families can, benefit using the internet and other means in order to reduce violence. Because we know that when there's no money in the home, at times, like you rightly said, little things cause serious
Fight.
problems. Yeah. For you, how significant or how important is it that there's diverse source of income in the home in order to prevent, domestic violence?
Okay, thank you very much, Tony. Every home
Okay.
experiences conflict.
All right.
Okay, and this is caused by so many factors, but we cannot overemphasize the effect of finance or
Okay.
economic
Yeah.
in a home. Okay, when there's a downturn in economy, what actually happens is that if there are tiny problems in the home, it gets magnified.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? People pick on little things because already they are depressed, they are under pressure.
Okay.
When there's no money, the uncertainty has a way of getting to you and bringing out the worst in you.
Is it only the female folks that it strikes the most of the male spouse?
Well, it affects everybody.
Okay.
It affects everybody. I think it's balanced because as the head of a home, the man, you are thinking of providing for your family.
Yeah.
There's rent to be
Pressure.
paid. There's school fees to be
Wow.
taken care of. Now, as the woman of the house, the mother, you're thinking of your kids. What are they going to eat? What are they going to wear? This issue being taken care of? Is the other issue being taken care of? So I think it's balanced. It affects everybody almost equally.
Okay.
Let me say.
So, what would you advise? What are the ways that families, homes, parents can key into entrepreneurship to really help the economic situation of the family? What ways can you suggest?
Okay. One thing I know is that everybody, is equipped with one or two forms of skill sets.
Okay.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, the problem is finding out.
Yes, finding out exactly what works for you. But then in your day-to-day life,
Yeah.
those things come to bear.
Okay.
So you might actually be able to pick it. If you're not able to pick it yourself, your spouse, your friends, you can ask them, what are those things you think I'm good at? Like somebody might be a good singer,
Okay.
you get what I'm saying? Your husband could be a good coordinator
Okay.
or a good organizer. Now, as a singer, you could go to the studio, do a track, or even in your home, they just do a track, post it online. You understand what I'm saying? So even if you don't have the money to go to the studio and develop it,
Yeah.
Okay.
somebody might be able to pick on
Pick it
it.
up, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I say, okay, let me call this person. Let's do a collab on something like, or come and do this song for me. I remember there was one particular lady I saw online. She remixed one of P Square's songs.
Yeah.
If you remember, I don't know if you've seen that
Yes,
video.
I did.
They called her.
And that was how she was recognized.
Exactly. So now, if your husband is a good organizer, you could decide to go into event management.
Okay.
Okay, you could just organize little events. Maybe start from your church if you're a Christian, or start with your mosque, in your mosque if you're a Muslim. Okay,
Okay.
that way you can start. You can build up something. Okay, so basically, I think what individuals or couples need to do is to sit down, recognize each other's skill sets, plan, make goals. Okay, and then work towards those goals. If you have a plan, okay, this is how we're going to start using our skill sets. We'll start from here. We can move it up to so and so in 2 years, in 5 years. You can build a business empire that you never knew was possible. You can achieve dreams that you never knew was possible. But a lot of times, couples sit down and blame each other. You are responsible for this. You are responsible for this because they believe they are right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the man will be thinking, why is my wife not seeing this my way?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Then the woman will be thinking, why is this man not seeing it my way? It's a normal conflict. But the most important thing there is that it doesn't get to that point where resentment and hate comes in.
Okay.
That makes it much more difficult.
Yeah.
But so far as it doesn't get to that point, it's redeemable. Now, let's assume, I'm giving another example now.
All right.
Somebody who knows how to cook. I don't want lady. I've been to her house, I ate her food.
I had to repeat the visit.
Oh, I had to
She can key into that.
So I told her,
Yeah.
I said, do you know you can actually do something like this? You can do this for a living. At first, she was like, how am I going to do this? Why will I start? I said, okay, start with your friends. You get what I'm saying? You could do their lunch, okay? You could do for their friends in the office, their colleagues. From there, you could start delivering foods. Or if you like, go to so and so spot, have a small table, just put a nice piece of cloth on it, maybe a check, red or green, put 1 or 2 coolers on it, just sell takeaway. Wear a nice apron, look very clean, wear the chef hat, you know what I'm saying? People are going to patronize you.
Yeah.
Do you know she started
Package
it?
properly.
Exactly. Do you know she started it? And right now she's making so much money, they call her for events.
Oh.
The first major job she got was in a school. They wanted to do their end of year party and they were looking for somebody to cook for them. So somebody remembered, wait, I saw this lady,
Yeah.
I ate her food and her
It
food
was
was
nice.
That's where she started. So from there, referrals
Okay.
will take over.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And one of the most beautiful things about today is that the internet has provided many tools.
Yeah,
for
I
marketing.
was going to go there. Let
Yeah.
us in on how you can make use of the internet for
Okay.
entrepreneurship.
Okay. Well, there are so many marketing tools on the internet. A lot of us are on Facebook, on Twitter, WhatsApp, so on and so forth. Instagram, that works as well. But most of the time, people use it for their entertainment
Yeah.
and networking in quotes.
Okay.
Because most of the time it's just private networking. They don't really leverage on that. But that is an area that can change somebody's fortune.
The internet.
The internet.
Okay.
It can change your fortune. Now on Facebook, there are so many people on Facebook. It has a wide-reaching audience.
Okay.
Now, if you post your product on Facebook, you have the ability to target a specific group of individuals or
Okay.
area. Okay, you could say, okay, I want to reach young people between the ages of so and so that live in so and so area that are interested in so and so things. Facebook will make sure those people get reached for a fraction of the price or the cost of advertising on billboards, printing flyers, and so on and so forth. Another beautiful aspect of it is that you actually make sure it gets to those people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flyers on billboards, you can't tell who has seen it and who hasn't seen it.
Mhm.
You can't tell if people are actually looking at it. Like when you're driving, maybe you just take a glance at the billboard and then you
And
pass.
that's it.
But when you're on Facebook, when you're on Instagram, when you're on Twitter, you're taking your time. So you're focusing. When you see an advert that catches your attention, you focus. And then you see everything on it. And if you are somebody who's very resourceful, you can also create a blog for yourself.
Yeah.
Most of these things are free.
Okay.
They are free. You understand what I'm saying? You create a blog for yourself and you can use those Facebook adverts or those social media adverts to direct traffic like audience
Audience. Yeah.
to your blog or your site without paying anything. You understand? So you can't overemphasize how social media and
The
can
internet.
be used and the internet can be used to market yourself or your product.
Okay. Finally, before we let you go, how can families and couples, especially, in order to curb domestic violence, also using the internet, we know it's addictive. How can they ensure that they don't get engrossed in it, that the other spouse feels left behind, so it doesn't cause some frictions?
Okay, well, the number one thing there is to recognize that you're a team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you recognize that you're a team, like I said earlier, you set goals.
Okay.
It's not an individual goal, it's a collective goal. So when you set a collective goal, you know this is where you're focusing on.
Okay.
It's like having a compass. If you have a compass and you don't know which direction you want to go, even if compass is pointing you to that direction, you don't know. You understand what I'm saying? So, but when you have a goal, you say, okay, we want to start selling akara. Okay, I'm just using akara because it's basically what everybody knows. Or kose, as kose in Hausa. We want to start selling akara. This is the area where we want to start selling the akara. I want to use Facebook to market it. Now, both of you know this is your goal, and both of you will start working towards it. So even if one spouse is focusing on it, based on your agreement, you know, okay, it's for the benefit of all.
Okay.
It will benefit the kids, it will benefit the wife, it will benefit the husband as well.
Right. All right, you've got any last questions?
Okay, yes, wrapped it up.
All right, I want to say a big thank you to Kanu Chimere for joining us this morning and trying to enlighten couples, families on how they can use the internet and also ensure that domestic violence is eradicated, because we know that money economic is one of the key factors that lead to domestic violence. Once again, I want to say thank you for joining us on the Breakfast Show, and we'll go for another quick break. When we come back, we'll be having another guest in the studio as we trash out these two very key discussions.